Our next story is about a boy named Alexander, and he had a difficult day. And our friend Charlie is going to read the story about Alexander.
Hi, my name is Charlie, and I'm going to be reading Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on my skateboard. In my mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a Junior Undercover Agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get the seat by the window, I am going to be car sick. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that a little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in mine. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for Mom to get to the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick, he said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse light burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that, even in Australia. I'm done with Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Alexander sure had some bad luck that day, didn't he? Here's one of the things to think about when you think about his story. His mom had the best advice at the end. She said, some days are like that. It's true, isn't it? Some days are good and great and fun, and some days are bad, and some days are boring. Here's the thing, guys. God is with us on all days, good, bad, and everything in between. Don't forget that. Our last story is about a girl named Wembley, and Dot's going to read this story about Wembley who worries.
Okay, so I am Dorothy, and I will be reading Wembley Worried by Kevin Hanks. Let's get started. Everybody just relax. Wembley worried about everything. Big things, I wanted to make sure you're still here. Little things, and things in between. Mama, what if I shrink? Emily worried in the morning, she worried at night, and she worried throughout the day. You worry too much, said her mother. When you worry, I worry, said her father. Worry, 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 said her grandmother. Too much worry. Go with the flow. At home, Emily worried about the tree in the front yard. What if it falls on our house? In the crack in the living room wall. What if it gets bigger and something comes out of it? And the noise the radiator made. What if there's a snake inside? At the playground, Emily worried about the chains on the swings, and the bolts on the slide, and the bars on the jungle gym. Too rusty, too loose, too high. And always she worried about her doll pedal. Shouldn't pedal have a car seat too? I found her, sweetie, but I was lost forever. I'll wait for you, Pedal. Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wimberly worried. She worried and worried. When Wimberly was especially worried, she rubbed Petal's ears. Wimberly worried if she didn't stop worrying, Petal would have no ears at all. On her birthday, Wimberly worried that no one would come to her party. See, said her mother, there was nothing to worry about. But then she worried that there wouldn't be enough cake. On Halloween, Wimberly worried that there would be too many butterflies in the neighborhood parade. See, said her father, there was nothing to worry about. But then she worried because she was the only one. You worry too much, said her mother. When you worry, I worry, said her father. Worry, said her grandmother. Too much worry. Take it as it comes. Soon, Wimberly had a new worry, school. Wimberly worried about the start of school more than anything she had ever worried about before. I loved school. But the time the first day arrived, Wimberly had a long list of worries. What if no one else has spots? What if no one else wears stripes? What if no one else brings a doll? What if the teacher is mean? What if the room smells bad? What if they make fun of my name? What if I can't find the bathroom? What if I hate the snack? What if I have to cry? Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wimberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. She worried all the way there. Have fun. Have fun. While Wimberly's parents talked to the teacher, Miss Peachum, Wimberly looked around the room. Then Miss Peachum said, Wimberly, there is someone I think you should meet. Her name was Jewel. She was standing by herself. She was wearing stripes. She was holding a doll. At first, Wimberly and Jewel just peeked at each other. This is Petal, said Wimberly. This is Niblet, said Jewel. Petal waved. Niblet waved back. Hi, said Petal. Hi, said Niblet. I rub her ears, said Wimberly. I rub her nose, said Jewel. Throughout the morning, Wimberly and Jewel sat side by side and played together whenever they could. Petal and Niblet sat side by side too. Wimberly worried, but no more than usual, and sometimes even less. Before Wimberly knew it, it was time to go. Come back tomorrow, called Miss Peachum as the students walked out the door. Wimberly turned and smiled and waved. I will, she said. Don't worry.
Wembley's a funny name, but her worries were not so funny. She had some hard times, but her parents, her family, and her teacher helped her get through those days. You know, being worried is like being scared. And if you're worried or scared, you can say a little prayer and say, God, be with me. and I know he will. Stories are great, and I'm glad you were with me for the reading and hearing of these stories. Let's say a little prayer together. Dear Lord, thank you for Valentina and Charlie and Dot, and thank you for the stories they read. Thank you for all books, Lord. Thank you for wonderful food, for good and bad days, and thank you that you're with us when we're scared. Be with all of our families and all of our friends, and bless us, Lord, and thank you for books. In Jesus' name, amen. It's been great to spend this time with you. Go and find a book and read it with someone you love. See you next year in New Wilmington. Bye.